Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to a new YouTube video on the channel. And so guys, here we are to continue my AFL 2023 3-game match reviews, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the first 3 games from round 14 of the 2023 AFL season. Those games are Port Adelaide vs Geelong, Brisbane vs Sydney and GWS vs Fremantle. I do just want to go ahead and keep in note as well that it is all 3-game match reviews from here. There's no more 2-game match reviews, it's all 3-game match reviews as the games are within a multiple of 3. Back on Thursday night, Port Adelaide had a really nice win over Geelong at the Adelaide Oval. They won by 38 in the end. So Port Adelaide 16-14, 110, Geelong 11-6, 72. Port Adelaide won by 38 in the end. And, I mean, look, this was a really good game where you thought Geelong had it and then they didn't. And, yeah, the Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide's such a threat. And I think no matter who you're playing at the Adelaide Oval, whether it's the Crows or Port Adelaide, you're in for a tough treat because we know how good the Crows are at the Adelaide Oval, and Port Adelaide, well, being one of those sides which are well and truly in premiership contention, of course, no surprise they're going to be good at the Adelaide Oval as well. So Adelaide Oval is a very tough trip now to take in football. But yeah, Port Adelaide started off this game slowly, and the Cats had the momentum in the first half. 2-6 in the first term, so they really did get away, and you almost kind of think, oh no, is this going to be a disaster for Port Adelaide? Are they going to be exposed? Accuracy really did hurt him in that first quarter, though. And then the second quarter, 5-8 at halftime to 7-3. In the third quarter, Port Adelaide go from 5 goals to 12, and the Cats only kicked 3 in the term, including 7 goals in a row for Port Adelaide, 7 unanswered goals. The Cats kick a couple back late and attempt to come back in the last quarter, but Port Adelaide kick 4 more goals just to seal your deal. And a 38-point win against last year's premiers is a really nice result in the end. 108 fantasy for Houston, 106 for Rosie, 100 for Marshall. Goals now, 4 goals for Jeremy Finlayson, who easily and arguably has to be in career best form. And I mean, if this isn't career best form, don't know what is. 3 goals for Marshall and 3 goals for Rowan, who early on in the game really did look to win the game off of his own boot. Narkle kicked 2 goals against his former side as well, obviously picked up in the mid-season draft for the Power. 2 goals for Hawkins and Power Pepper as well. Disposals 31 for Houston, 28 for Wines, 26 for Zach Guthrie. Marks 12 for Alian, 9 for Smith, 8 for Williams and O'Connor. Tackles 7 for Holmes. Now we go to hit-outs, 35 for Lysette, 16 for Blitzarves, 5 for Finlayson, 5 for Dixon, 3 for Finlayson, Hawkins, Rowan, 2 for Sam DeConing. Team stats now, 59-43 inside 50s, comfortable win there for Port Adelaide. We go to hit-outs, clearances, centre clearances, stoppage clearances, all in favour of Port Adelaide. That young midfield has been so hard to beat this year. It's just been such a good midfield combination that they've got. Everything is going really well for them, and that clearance number does reflect that they won contested and uncontested possessions by 8 in both areas. They took way more marks inside 50, 17-8 in the end, when the Cats defence looked a little bit unsure at times. Both sides led for about half the game. Port Adelaide did lay more tackles, but in the end, this is a really good win on the Thursday night for the Power. Friday night was Brisbane and Sydney, and saw a better encounter than what was first planned. Brisbane 13-19, 97, defeat Sydney 12-9, 81. Brisbane win by 16 in the end, and accuracy wasn't on their side on the night. And you felt like nor was the game. The game was on Sydney's terms for a bit of it, and Sydney just looked to have the rhythm, but a couple of really costly, really poor mistakes just let Brisbane creep back into the game, and they lost it in the end, did Sydney, after playing quite a relatively decent game in the end. First 2 quarters though, first quarter, all Sydney, everything was going their way. And then the second quarter, they owned it really as well. They owned the first half, but then Brisbane kicked 3 goals in the term, and then they only get a 5-point lead at half time. In the third quarter, that's where all of their misses come, and that's where they arguably should be leading by more than about 20 at 3-quarter time. And then the last quarter, the Swans kick 4, the Lions kick 3. And you always think the Swans are in it in the last quarter, but every time they kick one, the Lions just get one back. And really nice. I thought good win here for Brisbane. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't great, but just they got tested. They almost got exposed at times, but their ability to win still was great. And definitely a disappointing loss here for the Swans, who probably probably ends their season. 134 fancy for McInerney, 126 for Parker, 113 for Dunkley, 112 for Bailey, 108 for Goulden, 104 for Rowbottom, 100 for Neal, 2 goals for Bailey, Danaher, Hipwood, Goulden, Berry and Sheldrick. Disposals 29 for Neal, 28 for Dunkley, 27 for Goulden and Lloyd, 26 for Bailey, Marks, 10 for Hipwood, 6 for Amati, who looked decent, did Joel Amati. He only got the 1 goal, but looked alright. Tackles 11 for Rowbottom and Parker, 8 for Dunkley, 7 for Neal. Hit outs 46 McInerney, 34 for Hickey, 10 for McLean, 7 for Fort, 2 for Amati. Team stats now, where it's the Lions that won inside 50s by plus 10, 66 to 56. What else have we got? They won in clearances as well. They won contested possessions by 29, and they won uncontested footy as well, an area which they didn't win against Hawthorn a couple of weeks or a week ago. They took more marks inside 50 as well, 12 to 4. The Swans looking a little bit unset up at times. Brisbane led for definitely a little over half of the game, but in the end, look, really big win, and this could potentially be bye-bye to the Swans' year. Now the game which wrapped up not that long ago, GWS vs Fremantle at Giants Stadium, probably viewed as one of the best games of the round, and the scoreboard does not reflect it. It almost looks like it was a top 4 team versus a bottom 4 team with the way that this game played out. And, well, GWS 16-10, 106 defeated the Dockers 5-6, 36. Slim finals chance here for the Giants. Everything has to go right, which still means realistically Sydney aren't out of the equation. Everything's got to go right for the New South Wales teams from here if they're to win, which we'll be checking in with the ladder after. The Dockers, everything's got to go right for them as well. They want to make finals, including next week's massive clash versus Essendon. I don't think they're going to get much bigger than that, and a win or a loss is going to really sum up the Dockers season. Win, finals still in the equation. Loss, oh, you're potentially out of it. But look, really good game here from the Giants. They never let the Dockers in the door, and it was 4 goals in every quarter for them. 4 goals in the first. They had 8 by half time, 12 by three-quarter time, 16 by full time. They ran away with it early. 4 goals to 0 in the first term. They had 8 goals to 3. They were leading by 30 at half time, and the game was almost over at half time, especially considering the Dockers had only scored 22 for the game by then. In the third quarter, 4 goals to 1. And then only 1 more goal for the Dockers in the last quarter, and 4 more for the Giants. 120 fancy for for Kelly, 110 for Cornelio, 109 for Brayshaw, 108 for Callaghan, 106 for Sarong as well. 5 goals for Riccardi, brilliant outing. 4 goals for Toby Green, he's still so important in the side. 3 goals for Kelly, 2 for Brown, and Sturt, the only multiple goal scorer there for the Dockers was Sturt. 33 disposals for Kelly, 32 for Sarong, 31 for Green, and Cornelio, 29 for Brayshaw. Marks, 10 for Himmelberg, 9 for Iden and Whitfield. Tackles 7 for Bedford, 6 for Green. That's Tom Green. Briggs, Perryman, Buckley. Hit outs 28 for Briggs, 25 for Jackson, 5 for Keefe, 4 for Tracy. Team stats now 68 to 44 inside 50s. It was just a big win there in that area for the Giants. They won clearances, centre clearances 16 to 6. The Dockers, they do that area quite well. That's an area which they're relatively strong at. And I mean, a midfield which I believe had O'Meara back. It had Sarong, it had Brayshaw. To see them get smashed like that is surprising. They got smashed in contested and uncontested possessions. Marks inside 50, 21 to 7. So that almost tells your story itself. They led for the whole game to the Giants, and look, in the end, a 70-point win is a really big one. One word can describe this game for Fremantle. It was embarrassing, and look, a pretty big game on the season though. For sure, and Fremantle's finals hopes are just starting to slip away, considering they only scored 36 for the game. Not over just yet, finals hopes for either of these two sides, but things are getting interesting for sure. Alright, so now to the rest of the round. The Saints have slammed on the first goal against the Tigers really quickly at the MCG, currently 0-6 in the first quarter. That will be in the next 3-game match reviews. That is Trent Cotchin's 300th game. It should be an interesting one. Sunday has some pretty decent games as well. Carlton and Gold Coast at the MCG. This does loom as a season definer for Gold Coast, and I mean, Carlton, they don't want to finish in the bottom 4. They're gonna have to win if they want to avoid bottom 4 this year, because otherwise, if they lose this, their season is getting really ugly. And finals is definitely out of the equation for Carlton now. It's just how many wins can they conjure up for the rest of the year. They've been through a tough patch. It's been tough. They've played some really good sides in the last couple of weeks, but this one is an absolute must-win. And then North and the Dogs finishes off the round. North Melbourne getting better. The Dogs, both sides, on a 3-game losing streak. I mean, North are on like an 11-game losing streak. And the Dogs, they're on a 3-game losing streak. So there's going to be a winner. The Crows, the Pies, Bombers, Hawks, Melbourne and West Coast will have their byes this round. The ladder. This is where things get interesting. Port Adelaide currently temporarily on top. Obviously, they have their bye next week, and then Collingwood will still have that game in hand, and their percentage is superior for the Collingwood Footy Club. Melbourne in third, Brisbane in fourth. The Saints are in fifth with their result important, because if they do win, depending on how much, they could go into the top four. Essendon in sixth, Adelaide in seventh, the Dogs in eighth, Cats in ninth, Suns in 10th, Giants in 11th with their, slim finals hope still a chance. The Dockers lost a chunk of percentage. The Tigers, if they win, they can go to ninth. And, 13th to 9th is not bad. Sydney's finals hopes are really, really, really disappearing. They've still obviously got that game in hand, and you'd think next week versus West Coast should have a nice percentage boost, and they'll need it as well. They'll need a nice win next week. Next week looks really good as well. Geelong and Melbourne on the Thursday night. That's a big game. Saints Lions on the Friday night. Two massive games kick off the round. Sydney versus West Coast, not as interesting. But look, Sydney need the percentage. They really do. If they want to make finals, they first of all need a win, and then they need the percentage as well. Freo and Essendon is a season definer on the Saturday night for sure, especially for the Dockers. Collingwood and Adelaide, two sides inside the top 8. Collingwood want to go back on top spot. The Crows, not great away from home. And then the Suns and the Hawks finished off the round. Then you got Carlton, North, Port Adelaide, Richmond, Dogs, Giants having their byes. Thank you guys. All so much for watching. Please do make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys, never miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys so much. Bye everyone. Flame Footy out.